So I picked up this aluminum tri-spinner just to test out how it would feel versus the normal plastic one. And I actually like it a lot, except it has one pretty serious flaw, which I pointed out in my previous coverage of it. So when you spin it in one direction, it spins great. It's got a really nice spin time, it's smooth, it's got a little bit of weight to it. And then you spin it on the other side, it's got a nasty rub. Obviously something's wrong, and I might have gotten a lemon, but also you can see that there's no bearing collar here. So let me just take the back out and make it a little bit more clear what the problem is. So the bearing isn't held in place with anything, it's just sort of dropped in there. And by pushing on the back, just with a pencil or something, it comes right out. So the bearing's pushed in, it's not really stuck in place, and it's not held in place with any Loctite. It's just sitting there. So when it's pushed, when you're holding it and spinning it like this, the bearing is not stopped by anything. So the collar here, this collar, is pushing and touching the body, which is causing it to stop. When you're spinning it upright, like this, it has this collar preventing the bearing from moving up and preventing this collar from touching on the bottom. So I figured I would experiment a little. Here is a cheap fidget spinner. This one cost almost $20. This one cost about $8. And the bearings are a match. The problem is if I put this bearing in, I'm gonna have the same issue, right? So it's going to, if I put it in here, it will get pushed up. And I'll have the same rubbing effect. So just gonna experiment on how to fix that. Take one will be some Scotch tape. This will add a millimeter or two, and maybe not quite a millimeter, but a couple mils to the diameter of this, and maybe it could lock it in place. If this works, what I could do is I could get some Loctite, position it exactly where it needs to be, and really slam it in place. But that is, you know, just working with Loctite. It's not permanent, but it's a bit of a pain. And the challenge here is to keep the tape out of the way of the bearings, obviously. So, looks pretty good. I will force it in place. And I'll probably do another take after this video and clean this up with an X-Acto knife. But this should be a good experiment with the tape, just to decide if the Loctite is going to be a reasonable solution here. Okay, so definitely the bearing feels more solid. I don't feel it going up and down. And now a moment of truth. Good spin in one direction. I think I see a little bit of wobble. And then good spin in the other direction. So I think this might be an okay fix. I'll keep the tape on here for now and see if the tape holds it in place. But I probably will ultimately want to do that Loctite. And based on that wobble, I think I probably did not put, yeah, I can pretty much guarantee I did not put the bearing in exactly flush. So have to figure out a fix for that. But as for now, I feel like this tape may actually be all I need just to get some day-to-day use out of this, and then if it starts to shift, I could explore something more permanent, maybe just a second piece of tape. But yeah, I think if you have one of these aluminum spinners, you're not happy with the performance of what is actually a little bit of an expensive spinner, since these things are selling for over 20 bucks or around 20 bucks, then a single piece of tape might be the fix for that. It's definitely a flawed design though. We should just be clear about that. Every one of these spinners that uses this sort of drop-in bearing design instead of a press fit bearing, and there's nothing wrong with this, but they have this collar, and this collar holds everything where it should. I don't think the bearing that came with this spinner is quite as good as the bearing that came with this one, but I actually prefer this aluminum one, so I'll keep that there. So it seems like that rub is actually back. Or maybe it's only when I'm holding it at an angle. Anyway, should be a good fix in the short term, and I probably will have to do that Loctite later on. So hope this helps. Thanks for watching. Please leave any questions below.